This is Corey from Riverstone Structural Concepts. Today I'll go over review messages and assignments in the Archicad messaging system. If you've ever worked in Teamworks before, you'll probably know or have some familiarity with this messaging system in the Teamworks panel. You can send messages straight from here, adding whoever you're addressing, and select a priority, as well as adding in a message and even capturing a view. Selecting an optional task, and then sending. Another way is to select an element, right-click, and you can review selected elements. This will automatically provide the view and actually link the element itself so that the recipient can jump directly to that element. If I own the element, or if I have created a new element, I can actually assign this element to any other user. Now, while this system works fairly well, there's definitely some drawbacks that I will go over shortly. Let's review scenario 1. A user creates or reserves an element. So you add in a new beam or adjust a wall, and user 1 wants to send it to another user in the model. Well, let's say user 1 assigns that wall to user 2, who is not actively working in the project. For me, today's a slow day, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects open. If I'm working in another project, it's very likely that I don't see that message come in. When a message comes in, you get a little pop-up, and there appears to be no difference between a high priority and a low priority message, aside from the red marker around it. As you can see, this would be very easy to miss, but if you do manage to get the message, it can be very helpful to apply the view and show elements that have been sent for review very quickly in the teamwork model. Scenario 2, user assigns the element to user 2, who is currently offline. This will lock the element to that user until they're able to reload the project and release all. Scenario 3, user assigns an element to user 2, who does not have teamwork messages turned on in their work environment. Or the teamwork message pops up on a separate screen and is very difficult to find sometimes, without this panel being actively reviewed and opened. All three of these scenarios can lead to elements getting missed or updates getting missed, and assigning an element to another user without letting them know via email or Slack can be setting yourself up for frustration, as that element may be linked to that user, and that user may not be able to release or make updates in a timely fashion. Let's look at another scenario. User 1 requests an element from user 2. Commonly, these requests are sent and not addressed in a timely fashion. Most of the time, that is because this messaging system does not alert users very clearly, or, as I said before, the message may appear on another screen, or you might be working in a separate project and miss the message entirely. If user 2 does not respond in a timely fashion, user 1 may be done working for the day, hit release all, and then close the project. However, if user 1 does not revoke their request before leaving, user 2 can grant the request after user 1 has closed the project. This leads to user 1 owning the element and being offline, unable to release or grant their element to anyone else. Let's look at this in practice. So I've been working on the layer settings, and Oin has requested them from me. So I grant them to her, only to realize that she is already offline. Now, if I open up the layer settings and I attempt to make any changes, I need to request them from Oin. Until Oin reloads the project and releases, these layer settings are now linked only to her user. Let's look at one last scenario where using the Archicad messages can lead to missed information. If user 1 sends a critical review of an updated area of the model to another user, and user 2 is not actively working on the project, working in another project, or misses the teamwork message, user 2 is offline, or user 2 has teamwork messages turned off, then user 2 will miss whatever user 1 is trying to send until they come and check their messages panel. The messages don't send instantaneously sometimes. The messages may get stuck and not send to certain users in a timely fashion. We have always found that email is the most reliable source for getting new information from one user to another. Please utilize the Archicad messaging system to active users and to grant and release certain elements in the teamwork functions. However, please also follow up with an email, as this is the most reliable way to ensure that any requests, changes, or assignments get picked up in the Archicad messaging system. Thank you very much.